you're feeling really anxious right now, I want to help you understand a very common cause as to why that might be. And it has to do with the nature of certainty. So think about it this way. As we go through life, we have different values, is the word that we use for it when I teach this to my clients. So some of us value, for instance, feeling in control. And that's maybe like the top thing that we want to feel as we go through our life. So when we wake up in the morning, the very first thing that floods our brain is, how can I control this and control this and control this and get in control and make all these different things happen and get all these things done and make sure the kids are okay and this is okay. And so if you're valuing being in control at the number one slot, right, if that's the most important thing to you in your mind is going to populate with endless amounts of things that you need to control externally in your life. And feeling in control is just another variation of trying to feel certain, right? So some people are just trying to feel certain. So what they do is inside of their head, because they must feel certain, they go down this scenario and that scenario and this scenario and every little branching scenario they possibly can, because what they have chosen to value, either consciously or unconsciously, is feeling certain. They want to feel safe. They want to feel content. But here's the interesting thing, is if you're feeling anxious, chances are you've overvalued certainty, because some values, the more you value them, you're able to feel them more often. But some things, when you value them too much, you actually experience them even less. So essentially, like, the more you must feel certain, the less certain you are going to feel. The more you must feel in control, the less in control you're going to feel. Because essentially when you say, oh yeah, well, being in control would be nice, but I don't really have to be in control. Ironically, when you have that mindset, you're going to feel more in control. If you have the mindset of, I can't really control that. I can't really be certain about that. It would be good to know for sure what's going to happen, but I can't know for sure if that's going to happen the way I want it to. So I guess I'm going to let go of the need to feel certain about that. Once you devalue certainty, you put it lower on your list, you make it less of a must-have, then ironically, the more certain you feel. Like, the people in the world who are the most certain, the most confident, are the people who don't require feeling certain. The people who are the least certain, the most anxious and neurotic folks in the world, are people who have put certainty way too high on their values list. And they've put it even higher than things like happiness, love, content, things like that. So for instance, like, if one person has happiness as their top value and certainty is like number 4 or 5, then yeah, they want to feel certain, but they're not going to let needing to feel certain get in the way of their happiness. They're going to say, I can't really be sure about that, and it's just going to stress me out, so screw it, I'm going to let that go. That would be valuing happiness higher. But if somebody puts certainty above happiness, now they're not going to let themselves feel happy until they feel certain. They're essentially saying, no, I have to do these 30 things and then those other 20 things after that, and then maybe I'll let myself feel happy afterwards. So chances are, if you've been feeling an increase of anxiety, you've started to overvalue certainty. And sometimes it can be an external event that causes this, like an illness, or someone you love dies, or like COVID was one of these types of what we call significant emotional events, or SEE. And all of a sudden that can change what you value, where you got sick and then you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get sick and die. So now I really need to be certain. And you put certainty above happiness. And now you're wondering why you never feel happy and you never feel certain. So what I want you to do is kind of examine, like, what is your role with certainty right now in your life? Have you overvalued it? Is it at the top of your list? Like, what is the number one thing you are trying to feel all of the time? And if you're feeling anxious, it's probably some version of certainty, like in control, security, something like that. And you'll be amazed that if you can start to relinquish that, let that go, like, okay, start being okay with being uncertain about certain things, especially things that are outside of your control, then you're going to start feeling a whole lot better. So again, my name is Hicks. I do these videos because I used to be suicidal. I overcame depression, been depression-free for over 16 years. I want you to be able to live anxiety and depression-free, because it is possible. There's so many people struggling with these issues, and I want you to be somebody who is not. So I hope this is helpful, and hope to see you in another video soon.